Shalom, family, and thank you so much for joining us for this week's scripture reading. And this week we'll be reading from Numbers chapter 19, verse 1 through chapter 22, verse 1, Judges chapter 11, verses 1 through 33, Hebrews chapter 9, verses 11 through 28, and John chapter 3, verses 10 through 21. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, This is the ordinance of the Torah, which Yahuwah hath commanded, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharel, that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. And ye shall give her unto Eleazar the priest, that he may bring her forth without the camp, and one shall slay her before his face. And Eleazar the priest shall take of her blood with his finger, and sprinkle of her blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times. And one shall burn the heifer in his sight, her skin, and her flesh, and her blood, with her dung shall he burn. And the priest shall take cedar wood, and hyssop, and scarlet, and cast it into the midst of the burning of the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp, and the priest shall be unclean until the even. And he that burneth her shall wash his clothes in water, and bathe his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the even. And a man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and lay them without the camp in a clean place, and it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Yasharel, for a water of separation. It is a purification for sin. And he that gathereth the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the even. And it shall be unto the children of Yasharel, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among them, for a statute forever. He that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days. He shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day he shall be clean. But if he purify not himself the 3rd day, then the 7th day he shall not be clean. Whosoever toucheth the dead body of any man that is dead, and purifieth not himself, defileth the tabernacle of Yahuwah, and that soul shall be cut off from Yasharel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean. His uncleanness is yet upon him. This is the Torah. When a man dieth in a tent, all that come into the tent, and all that is in the tent, shall be unclean 7 days. And every open vessel which hath no covering bound upon it is unclean. And whosoever toucheth one that is slain with a sword in the open fields, or a dead body, or a bone of a man, or a grave, shall be unclean 7 days. And for an unclean person they shall take of the ashes of the burnt heifer of purification for sin, and running water shall be put thereto in a vessel. And the clean person shall take hyssop, and dip it in the water, and sprinkle it upon the tent, and upon all the vessels, and upon the persons that were there, and upon him that touched a bone, or one slain, or one dead, or a grave. And the clean person shall sprinkle upon the unclean on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day, and on the 7th day he shall purify himself, and wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and shall be clean at even. But the man that shall be unclean, and shall not purify himself, that soul shall be cut off from among the congregation, because he hath defiled the sanctuary of Yahuwah. The water of separation hath not been sprinkled upon him, he is unclean. And it shall be a perpetual statute unto them, that he that sprinkleth the water of separation shall wash his clothes, and he that toucheth the water of separation shall be unclean until even. And whatsoever the unclean person toucheth shall be unclean, and the soul that toucheth it shall be unclean until even. Then came the children of Yasharel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the 1st month. And the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there, and was buried there. And there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered themselves together against Moshe and against Aaron. And the people chode with Moshe, and spake, saying, Would Elohim that we had died when our brethren died before Yahuwah! And why have you brought up the congregation of Yahuwah into this wilderness, that we and our cattle should die there? And wherefore have you made us to come up out of Egypt, to bring us in unto this evil place? It is no place of seed, or of figs, or of vines, or of pomegranates, neither is there any water to drink. And Moshe and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they fell upon their faces, and the kavod of Yahuwah appeared unto them. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, Take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink. And Moshe took the rod from before Yahuwah, as he commanded him. And Moshe and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? And Moshe lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe and Aaron, Because ye believe me not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Yasharel, therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Yasharel strove with Yahuwah, and he was sanctified in them. And Moshe sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus saith thy brother Yasharel, Thou knowest all the travail that hath befallen us, how our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto Yahuwah, he heard our voice, and sent an angel, and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of thy border. Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields, or through the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left, until we have passed thy borders. And Edom said unto him, Thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with a sword. And the children of Yasharel said unto him, We will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, Thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people, and with a strong hand. And thus Edom refused to give Yasharel passage through his border, wherefore Yasharel turned away from him. And the children of Yasharel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh, and came unto Mount Hor. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe and Aaron in Mount Hor, by the coasts of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, for ye shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Yasharel, because ye rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up unto Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son, and Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, and shall die there. And Moshe did as Yahuwah commanded, and they went up into Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. And Moshe stripped Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son, and Aaron died there in the top of the mount. And Moshe and Eleazar came down from the mount. And when all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, they mourned for Aaron 30 days, even all the house of Yasharel. And when King Arad the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, heard tell that Yasharel came by the way of the spies, then he fought against Yasharel, and took some of them prisoners. And Yasharel vowed a vow unto Yahuwah, and said, If thou wilt indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. And Yahuwah hearkened to the voice of Yasharel, and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah. And they journeyed from the Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to the compass the land of Edom, and the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spake against Elohim and against Moshe, Wherefore have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread. And Yahuwah sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Yasharel died. Therefore the people came to Moshe and said, We have sinned, for we have spoken against Yahuwah and against thee. Pray unto Yahuwah, that he take away the serpents from us. And Moshe prayed for the people. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, Make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass, that every one that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live. And Moshe made a serpent of brass, and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. And the children of Yasharel set forward, and pitched in Oboth. And they journeyed from Oboth, and pitched in Ajeabarim, in the wilderness which is before Moab, toward the sun rising. From thence they removed, and pitched in the valley of Zared. From thence they removed, and pitched on the other side of Arnon, which is in the wilderness that cometh out of the coasts of the Amorites. For Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. Wherefore it is said in the book of the wars of Yahuwah, what he did in the Red Sea, and in the brooks of Arnon, and at the stream of the brooks that goeth down to the dwelling of Ar, and lieth upon the border of Moab. And from thence they went to Beer, that is the well whereof Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, Gather the people together, and I will give them water. Then Yasharel sang this song, Spring up, O well, sing ye unto it. The princes digged the well, the nobles of the people digged it, by the direction of the lawgiver, with their staves. And from the wilderness they went to Mattanah, and from Mattanah to Nahaleel, and from Nahaleel to Bamoth, and from Bamoth in the valley, that is the country of Moab, to the top of Pisgah, which looketh toward Yashimon. And Yasharel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, saying, Let me pass through thy land. We will not turn into the fields or into the vineyards. We will not drink of the waters of the well, but we will go along by the king's highway until we be past thy borders. And Sihon would not suffer Yasharel to pass through his border. But Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Yasharel into the wilderness, and he came to Jahaz and fought against Yasharel. And Yasharel smote him with the edge of the sword, and possessed his land from Arnon unto Yabok, even unto the children of Ammon, for the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Yasharel took all these cities, and Yasharel dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon, and in all the villages thereof. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and taken all his land out of his hand, even unto Arnon. Wherefore they that speak in Proverbs say, Come into Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built and prepared. For there is a fire gone out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon. It hath consumed Ar of Moab, and the lords of the high places of Arnon. Woe to thee, Moab! Thou art undone, O people of Chemosh. He hath given his sons that escaped, and his daughters into captivity, into Sihon, king of the Amorites. We have shot them. Heshbon is perished even unto Dibon, and we have laid them waste, even unto Nophah, which reacheth unto Medeba. Thus Yasharel dwelt in the land of the Amorites, and Moshe sent to spy out Jazer, and they took the villages thereof, and drove out the Amorites that were there. And they turned and went up by the way of Bashan, and Og the king of Bashan went out against them, and he and all his people, to the battle of Edrei. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, Fear him not, for I have delivered him into thy hand, and all his people, and his land, and thou shalt do to him as thou didst unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, which dwelt at Heshbon. So they smote him, and his sons, and all his people, until there was none left alive, and they possessed his land. And the children of Yasharel set forward, and pitched in the plains of Moab, on this side of Jordan, by Jericho. Judges chapter 11, verse 1. Now Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor, and he was the son of Anhalid, and Gilead begot Jephthah. And Gilead's wife bare him sons, and his wife's sons grew up, and they thrust out Jephthah, and said unto him, Thou shalt not inherit in our father's work, for thou art the son of a strange woman. Then Jephthah fled from his brethren, and dwelt in the land of Tob. And there were gathered vain men to Jephthah, and went out with him. And it came to pass in process of time that the children of Ammon made war against Yasharel. And it was so that when the children of Ammon made war against Yasharel, the elders of Gilead went to fetch Jephthah out of the land of Tob. And they said unto Jephthah, Come and be our captain, that we may fight with the children of Ammon. And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead, Did you not yet hate me, and expel me out of my father's house? And why are ye come unto me now, when you are in distress? And the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah, Therefore we turn again to thee now, that thou mayest go with us and fight against the children of Ammon, and be our head over all the inhabitants of Gilead. And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead, If you bring me home again to fight against the children of Ammon, and Yahuwah deliver them before me, shall I be your head? And the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah, Yahuwah be witness between us, if we do not so according to thy words. Then Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him head and captain over them. And Jephthah uttered all his words before Yahuwah in Mizpah. And Jephthah sent messengers unto the king of the children of Ammon, saying, What hast thou to do with me, that thou art come against me to fight in my land? And the king of the children of Ammon answered unto the messengers of Jephthah, Because Yasharel took away my land, when they came up out of Egypt, from Arnon even unto Jabbok, and unto Jordan. Now therefore restore those lands again peaceably. And Jephthah sent messengers again unto the king of the children of Ammon, and said unto him, Thus saith Jephthah, Yasharel took not away the land of Moab, nor the land of the children of Ammon. But when Yasharel came up from Egypt, and walked through the wilderness unto the Red Sea, and came to Kadesh, then Yasharel sent messengers unto the king of Edom, saying, Let me, I pray thee, pass through thy land. But the king of Edom would not hearken on thereto. And in like manner they sent unto the king of Moab, but he would not consent. And Yasharel abode in Kadesh. Then they went along through the wilderness, and compassed the land of Edom, and the land of Moab, and came by the east side of the land of Moab, and pitched on the other side of Arnon, but came not within the border of Moab, for Arnon was the border of Moab. And Yasharel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, the king of Heshbon. And Yasharel said unto him, let us pass, we pray thee, through thy land into my place. But Sihon trusted not Yasharel to pass through his coast. But Sihon gathered all his people together, and pitched in Jahaz, and fought against Yasharel. And Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharel delivered Sihon and all his people into the hand of Yasharel, and they smote them. So Yasharel possessed all the land of the Amorites, the inhabitants of that country. And they possessed all the coasts of the Amorites, from Arnon even unto Yabok, and from the wilderness even unto Jordan. So now Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharel hath dispossessed the Amorites from before his people Yasharel, and shouldest thou possess it? Wilt not thou possess that which Chemosh thy God giveth thee to possess? To whomsoever Yahuwah our Elohim shall drive out from before us, them will we possess. And now art thou anything better than Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab? Did he ever strive against Yasharel, or did he ever fight against them? While Yasharel dwelt in Heshbon, and her towns, and in Aroer, and her towns, and in all the cities that be along by the coast of Arnon, 300 years, why therefore did ye not recover them within that time? Wherefore I have not sinned against thee, but thou doest me wrong to war against me. Yahuwah the judge be judged this day between the children of Yasharel and the children of Ammon. Howbeit the king of the children of Ammon hearkened not unto the words of Jephthah which he sent him. Then the Ruach of Yahuwah came upon Jephthah, and he passed over Gilead and Manasseh, and passed over Mitzpah of Gilead, and from Mitzpah of Gilead he passed over unto the children of Ammon. And Jephthah vowed a vow unto Yahuwah, and said, If thou shalt without fail deliver the children of Ammon into mine hands, then it shall be that whatsoever cometh forth of the doors of my house to meet me, when I return in shalom from the children of Ammon, shall surely be Yahuwah's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. So Jephthah passed over unto the children of Ammon to fight against them, and Yahuwah delivered them into his hands. And he smote them from Aroer even till they came to Minnith, even 20 cities, and unto the plain of the vineyards, with a very great slaughter. Thus the children of Ammon were subdued before the children of Yasharel. Hebrews chapter 9, verse 11. But Mashiach, being come an high priest of good things to come, by a greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building, neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood, he entered in once into the Kadesh place, having obtained eternal redemption for us. For if the blood of bulls and of goats, and the ashes of an heifer, sprinkling the unclean, sanctify to the purifying of the flesh, how much more shall the blood of Mashiach, who through the eternal Ruach offered himself without spot to Elohim, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living Elohim? And for this cause he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. For where a testament is, there must also of necessity be the death of the testator. For a testament is of force after men are dead. Otherwise it is of no strength at all while the testator liveth. Whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood. For when Moshe had spoken every precept to all the people according to the Torah, he took the blood of the calves and of goats with water and scarlet wool and hyssop, and sprinkled both the book and all the people, saying, This is the blood of the testament, which Elohim hath enjoined unto you. Moreover, he sprinkled with blood both the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry, and almost all things are by the Torah purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission. It was therefore necessary that the patterns of things in the heavens should be purified with these, but the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifices than these. For Mashiach is not entered into the Kadosh places made with hands, which are the figures of the true, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of Elohim for us. Nor yet that he should offer himself often, as the high priest entereth into the Kadosh place every year with the blood of others. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world. But now once, in the end of the world, hath he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment, so Mashiach was once offered to bear the sins of many, and unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation. John chapter 3, verse 10. Yahusha answered and said unto him, Art thou a master of Yasharel, and knowest not these things? Verily, verily, I say unto thee, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen, and ye receive not our witness. And if I have told you earthly things, and you believe not, how shall you believe if I tell you of heavenly things? And no man hath ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, even the Son of Man, which is in heaven. And as Moshe lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have eternal life. For Elohim so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For Elohim sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of Elohim. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For every one that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they are wrought in Elohim. Thank you so much for joining us. Shabbat Shalom.